Hi, it's me, your boyfriend slash girlfriend slash day friend, favorite content creator. And if you've watched the thumbnail, you know what this is about. But if for some reason you didn't click on the thumbnail and you somehow just got this video, tell me how that works. But also, yes, we are going to be going over a critical drinker video, which is only the second time I've done a critical drinker video on this channel, I believe. I don't want to do lots of videos on this guy because I think he's just awful, but his most recent shit talking about the Odyssey was so laughably bad to me that I had to do this. I had to do this. Granted, his video is only 8 minutes long, and you can tell, but mine is not, but because I have things to actually say. I have things to actually say, whereas the drinker just says shit. Don't believe me? Here.
Oh dear, if it's not one thing, it's another. No sooner has Hollywood weathered the absolute storm that blew up around Supergirl, causing irreparable damage to female-led superhero movies.
So that's immediately just being hyperbolic. First off, you guys, specifically you, Critical Drinker, and your ilk, did the same shit to Captain Marvel. That's not going to this is not going to irreparably harm female superhero films. All right. The storm around it was you losers being upset because you didn't think she was attractive enough. Like this whole, again, we're 30 seconds in. We're 30 seconds in.
And probably James Gunn's career, then another
Jesus.
tempest looms on the horizon. And I'm not talking about the kind that this Galadriel cosplayer was banging on about.
Also, you can tell within the first 30 seconds of this video that this guy does not like women in leads. He doesn't, which is ironic because he did a movie which he had a woman character being a girl boss, all things he hated, but he truly does not like female leads, especially in anything considered to be action or fantasy.
There is a tempest in me.
I mean, another potentially devastating audience backlash, this time against Christopher Nolan's Odyssey. It's a film that's already had its share of controversies and criticisms, everything from the postmodern feminist translation of the source text.
The people who first translated it were men, and they did things in a very male way, where they translated a word that I believe means like dog face to being bitch or whore for women only, even though it was also used towards men, but they wouldn't call men those things, right? Her version, Emily Wilson's version, is considered to be the most accurate version out there. But again, because it's a woman, he must go in the feminist version. You think he knows shit about the Odyssey?
To the cinematography, costumes, historical authenticity.
Again, historical authenticity about something that never happened. That never happened.
Look and feel, and worst of all, the casting.
Okay, so there we go. Immediately. 51 seconds in.
And it will not be quelled by you, Regent.
Not only is it a movie based on an ancient Greek legend with no actual Greek people in it, but
well, at least there's that. Okay, give you that.
well, the people they actually did cast were questionable at best. And holy shit, did people make their feelings known. At the time of making this video, the latest countdown trailer is sitting at 48.
He says that people make their feelings known as if, see, this is what they do. They act as if they're just reading the room and the temperature, and not the fact that they are one of the largest proponents of this. I mean, here's Critical Drinker talking about this movie negatively a month ago, right here. Here's him once again talking about they really picked the cream of the crop, didn't they? And who is he focusing on? Notice how the majority of it is Lupita Nyong'o, Zendaya, Elliot Page. But yeah, the people let their feelings be known, and the fact that they keep freaking using this dislike extension, which Birdman has shown in his video. I tried it myself. Multiple people have stated this. These things are not accurate. It is not a representation of the people who dislike the video. It's a representation of the people who use this extension and then dislike the video, because they don't have this data. They don't have the data to actually accurately track this. the Odyssey official is it, and by the way, it's an official countdown trailer, right? Which means nothing. That's a countdown trailer that only got 4 million views in comparison to the official new trailer, which even using the extension, because I downloaded the extension for, like I said, for a video, 344,000 likes, confirmed likes for the official trailer. This was 2 months ago. It's got 33 million views. This got 4 million views. This was put out 4 days ago. Like a countdown trailer is not going to move mountains. Here's the official trailer. Why not go to the official trailer that had 681,000 likes compared to the extension showing 129,000 dislikes? Weird how we chose the one that is for a countdown trailer and not the actual official trailer, which most people would have seen. 49 million compared to 4.9 million. Literally 10 times the amount.
Video, the latest countdown trailer is sitting at 48,000 likes and 213,000 dislikes. God only knows what it'll be like by the time you're watching this video. Either way though, that is fucking brutal, man. I've never seen anything like this on a Christopher Nolan movie. Make no mistake, this is more than just a few curmudgeons on the internet fighting a culture war. This is mainstream, widespread.
No, it's not. That's not more than that. This is exactly what this is. I just showed you. 49 million people saw the trailer and over 500,000 of them liked it. And also, there's something that needs to be stated too. Not everyone who watches shit online posts comments or likes or whatever, right? I have videos that have less views than my bigger videos that have more comments on them because of the topic or whatever. That's just how the internet works. So again, this notion that like these likes in general are not a good metric to use when talking about the objective success of something or the potential success of anything. I personally have videos that have less likes that have done better than videos that have more likes. Most people aren't terminally online either, so this means nothing to them.
Backlash against this movie. This is the kind of shitstorm I haven't seen since Snow White.
It's Hollywood, baby.
Oh my god, they're obsessed with Richard Zegler, dog.
Backlash against Supergirl, because in some ways I can see the parallels between the perception of the two films.
That doesn't make sense.
Now stick with me here, because I am going someplace with this. Supergirl had the bad luck of landing right at the intersection of three major problems in modern entertainment. 1. Superhero fatigue.
Superhero fatigue is not a thing. You cannot say superhero fatigue is a thing when, like, what, 2 years ago we had the Batman came out and that did crazy well. With this upcoming Spider-Man movie is going to fucking hit hard. The previous movie, Superman, did really well. That came out last year. This notion of superhero fatigue is simply not true.
2. Girl boss fatigue.
That's not a thing. He's making things up. He's making shit up. Girl boss fatigue. That is a term that these losers use. It literally anytime there is a woman with a little bit of a character, a little personality, they call her a girl boss. Because he won't explain any of this shit in any sort of significant way. Watch.
And 3. James Gunn fatigue. All of those factors combined together to sour people's anticipation for the film before it even released. Because us humans are pretty good at pattern recognition, and let's be honest here, we've had a pretty bad run of female-led superhero movies and TV shows over the past 5 years, and we've had an even worse run of James Gunn-led projects. Keep serving up shit.
No, again, you see how he doesn't substantiate any of the claims he's made. Supergirl ran on CBS and the CW for like 8 years. Captain Marvel made $1 billion. Wakanda Forever made over $800 million. Wonder Woman, not 84, but Wonder Woman was a success, a huge success. And again, you could apply this to non-female superheroes too. They always focus on women. Obviously, this video is about Well, actually, his video's about the Odyssey, so I don't know why he's talking about superhero shit. But also, notice how his video's only 8 minutes long, and so 2-3 minutes of it is not even talking about the Odyssey. But they do this all the time. They will not substantiate any of their claims because they know that their audiences will just take what they say at face value. There is no evidence to back what he's saying up. There is none. James Gunn fatigue. His last movie was Superman. People loved Superman. And then prior to that, in the superhero world, he did the Guardians of the Galaxy series. People love the Guardians of the Galaxy series. People love Peacemaker. You know what? Talking about substantiated claims, why don't we look at, first off, let's go to, all right, so average rating from according to Rotten Tomatoes, 93%. From the audience, 83%. And I believe that's just season 1. So season 2, 79%, still good, 94% critically. Oh, look, another James Gunn movie, The Suicide Squad for DC, received by audiences and critics much better than the previous Suicide Squad movie. There's also, you know, Superman, like I said, 83% from critics, 90% from audiences. This is not superhero fatigue, nor is it James Gunn fatigue. What we are seeing, though, is agenda posting. These people have an agenda against James Gunn. Most of them because they're Snyder cultists, but they have an agenda against James Gunn. So because of that, they have to literally fabricate things. People aren't tired of James Gunn's superhero films. In fact, according to what we saw, they probably want more of them.
Food at your restaurant, and guess what? People are gonna start complaining and then they're gonna stop showing up. But the Odyssey might be walking right into its own little intersection of stuff that people are getting increasingly pissed off about. For example, 1. Race swap fatigue.
Race swap fatigue. He's just throwing the word fatigue in. And I'm gonna preempt his argument right here by saying there is no race swapping happening in this film. At least not when it comes to, you know, Greek mythology. Because these people aren't fucking real. And beyond that, because I know people are going to say, what if they did like an African one and changed it, whatever. Beyond that, the definition of whiteness as we know it did not exist in that time period. And there are people from different, what we consider ethnicities now, living in ancient Greece. This Mycenaean era Greece, ancient Greece, whatever you want to call it, depending on time period. There are people of different cultures living there. Whenever they talk about race swaps, they never talk about like white people being these people. It's always like the non-white people they focus on.
2. Gender ideology fatigue.
Gender ideology fatigue by casting Elliot Page. Do I have to even say anything about this one?
And 3. Zendaya fatigue.
Notice who he targeted, by the way. Zendaya, Elliot Page, Lupita Nyong'o. 2 women of color, 1 trans person. Do you understand? Do you understand his framing now? This has nothing to do with the quality of the film. This is 100% a political agenda that he's trying to push, which is he does not want to see people of color anywhere, and he doesn't want to see trans people in anything. That's what it all boils down to. Zendaya fatigue. Says who? Who has that? Who has Zendaya fatigue? Legitimately, she's in Dune. As far as movies go, she's in Dune and she's in Spider-Man. This is like her 3rd movie. Where's the fatigue?
Let's start with the first one because, well, it's first. Now, you don't need me to tell you that there's been a frustrating rise in the race swapping of established characters and in some cases, actual historical figures in recent years. And of course, it only ever goes in one direction. There's this...
Again, so a lie. A lie. Also, who is she race swapping? Bridgerton's not fucking real. Bridgerton's not real, and from the outset of the show, they always had a multiracial cast. That was the cast from the beginning. Who was she race swapping? This is what I'm saying. He doesn't even strengthen his own argument because he never substantiates anything. He just is racist and historically inaccurate. He's supposed to be a fucking film critic. Hello, blackface, yellowface. There have been recent films that have made people into other races who weren't, oh, it only goes one way. There were people who were originally Asian who would turn to white people for films. There are people who were originally black who would turn to white people for films. What are you talking about? It's only a problem now because he's a racist. He would not give a shit if every character and everything that mattered about was white. He wouldn't care. He's mad that in fantasies especially, that there's more non-white folk in there. That's crazy.
This weird assumption that every other culture, race, and ethnic group in the world are entitled to their own unique stories, history, and identity, and it all has to be carefully fenced off, protected, and respected. Whereas anything created by white Europeans is treated like some generic all-you-can-eat buffet that everyone's allowed to stick their hands into.
He is not only is he not the creator of the shit that he's talking about, the people who made this stuff were like, yeah, I'm gonna do this. Again, Lord of the Rings, the Amazon TV series, they made it. They can do what they want. And the fact that people, sorry, there's a fly over here. The fact that these people are so incensed over this shit that does not matter should let you know exactly what kind of person they are. At no point is he focusing on the actual film. He's talking about the casting, which he hasn't seen them acting in this movie. By the way, Lupita Nyong'o is a phenomenal actress, so it's weird that he has a hang up about that too. Zendaya is a pretty decent actress too, and so is Elliot Page. They're all good actors, so his anger at them is insane unless you understand that he's a racist and he's transphobic. But he's like, oh, everyone else's stuff must be held sacred in this and the third. But if white Europeans make it, it's a buffet. White Europeans have also had their hand in whitewashing characters and people. Like, what are you talking about?
Black female Vikings? Sure, why not? An Asian Isaac Newton? Of course. An English Tudor queen who's somehow African? It just makes sense.
You sure about that? You sure about that?
Well, no, actually, it doesn't. And you know what? I think people are getting a bit sick of this shit. They're getting sick.
He keeps showing Bridgerton as if this is some... Okay, I'm letting that go.
Of being written out of their own cultural heritage and even their own history. They're getting sick of being labelled racist just for pointing out something that's provably, verifiably bullshit. And they're getting sick of being expected to just shut up and accept it. Which is why the casting of Lupita Nyong'o as Helen of Troy, one of the most iconically beautiful women in all of literature, hit a bit of a sore spot for...
Why though? Hey, real quick, describe what Helen of Troy looks like. Show me the pictures of Helen of Troy. Show me the photos of Helen of Troy. Why are you not upset? Why are you not upset at, I don't know, talking about race swap? Like you mentioned earlier, none of these actors are Greek. Matt Damon's a white guy from Boston. Why is this not upsetting you? Why is John Bernthal being in this film? Why does it not upset you? Why does a British person that is in the form of both Tom Holland and Robert Pattinson, why does it not upset you? They're not Greek. Where's the anger for that? Helen of Troy never existed. And maybe because you're super racist, you can't see it. But Lupita Nyong'o, pretty beautiful.
For a lot of people, and probably came at the worst possible time. Now, personally, I like Lupita Nyong'o.
No, you
she's
don't.
She's a talented actress, but come on, man. There's no fucking way you're convincing me or anyone else that she was the right person to play this role.
It's an act of lunacy.
That's right, Sean Connery. It is. You know what's also...
But does he say why, though? Well, it's because she's black. But does he say why it's an act of lunacy? Why is this a bad... You said you like her, she's a good actor, but you can't convince me of this. Why not? You said she's a good actress. What does it matter? What does it matter? This is an adaptation of an oral story. What does it matter? Is it good or not? What does it fucking matter? Also, I just thought about this, by the way, because I know he watched The Boys too, and he's thought he'd bring race swap, and it happened the other way. You know, the Deep was the black character in The Boys, right? And he got race swapped. You know, Victoria Newman was really Victor Newman, Victor the Deep Newman, who was a white guy, not only got gender swapped, but also race swapped. Just thought I'd point that out.
So an act of lunacy, casting Elliot Page in this movie, which brings me neatly along to my second issue in the unholy trifecta. Gender ideology.
That's right. You can't cast trans people in movies ever, because that's a gender ideology.
Now, we all know that Elliot Page recently transitioned from female to male, and that's fine by me. I hope
No, it's
he's
not,
living his
though.
best life now and
But it's not, though.
being fulfilled. But it does create a bit of a problem when it comes to
literally using a guy now who I've used his videos before. You can't see it because I'm blocking it. This is an AI from Dr. Clown PhD, because these fucking dumbasses were adamant that Elliot Page was playing Achilles, which was never confirmed. In fact, they've been confirmed to not be playing Achilles. And their notion too is that Odyssey and Troy, like the Odyssey is like a sequel to Troy. Like that's how they're framing this in their minds. Like we had Brad Pitt and now we have Elliot Page. Like, no, stupid, they're not the same character.
Casting, because Elliot Page is 5'1" and weighs about 90 pounds soaking wet. He makes Millie Alcock look positively statuesque, and no amount of shadow boxing videos is going to change that. Notice how they put him next to the smallest man they could possibly find to try and make him look bigger? Your Jedi mind tricks won't work on me, son. Anyway, he's playing a Greek soldier named Sinon, who was never actually mentioned in the Odyssey or even the Iliad, but who cares at this point because we're just winging this shit.
So what does it matter? This is what I'm talking about. He's playing a character of insignificance. What does it matter? What does it matter? Tell me, what does it matter? Also, it's like entirely possible that the character playing Sinon is going to be used as like a flashback or possibly representation of Odysseus' guilt, because they were part of the Trojan War, which is, you know, what this thing is about partially. So like there's ways for the character to be in here. But also, if you know anything about Greek mythology, you know nothing makes sense in the timeline sense. You'll have Hercules sailing with the Argonauts at the same time he's doing his labors. Like these are stories that aren't supposed to be put in some sort of chronological order either.
But I mean, how? What the fuck is he supposed to fight against? I mean, his own armor probably weighs more than he does. The moment he's on screen amongst other men, he's gonna look like a small, malnourished child playing at soldiers. Believe.
Do you think that might be also used as a point being made? Like that's what I'm talking about. They don't even know. For all they know, Sinon could be a shade, right? A shade could be withered and weak looking. Like they don't understand anything.
Even this kind of crap requires the same kind of mental gymnastics that allows 5'3" Scarlett Johansson to beat up a room full of men twice her size. Again, it's something we've all had to collectively suffer through for like a decade now.
Suffer through suspension of disbelief? This is a film critic.
Notion that men and women's fighting potential is even vaguely comparable.
Also, fake fan, hashtag LARPer. Black Widow took a variant of the super soldier serum. That's why she's able to do that shit. That's just canonically true. Like that's just what it is. And also, he says this as if in his own film, Rogue Elements, the Ryan Drake story, he did not have a woman fighting a guy who was like 10 times her size and not immediately being knocked out from one punch with his full weight behind it. Like he's also guilty of the things that we had to suffer through.
And well, nobody buys it anymore, man. Especially in a movie made by Mr. Ultra Serious Christopher Nolan. This isn't some cheesy action flick or a dumb superhero movie where believability sits firmly on the back burner. This is meant to be a grounded, realistically portrayed narrative, and it looks ridiculous. The third issue is
when did we said that was supposed to be the intention? If it was supposed to be realistic, don't you think Christopher Nolan would have done the research to like hire all Greek actors and have all their armor look historically accurate? Like you yourself in the beginning said that one of the issues was the cinematography. If he's choosing to not go for hyper realism, like you're contradicting your own points.
less prominent one, but I do get the feeling it's becoming more prevalent as time goes on.
And this is no one cares about
The
this.
best way I can describe it really is Zendaya fatigue. Right now, it just feels like the girl is fucking everywhere. Not only is she in 4 separate high-profile movies this year alone, plus Euphoria on TV.
Euphoria's over. She's in Dune. She's in. What was he counting? Is he counting like? What was the third high? Spider-Man, Dune, the Odyssey. Those are the high-profile ones. What are you talking about? Tom Holland's also in high-profile ones. Robert Pattinson was also in 2 of the same movies. Robert Pattinson's also in Dune. He's also in the Odyssey, and he was also in the movie with Zendaya. the drama. So like, are we getting Robert Pattinson fatigue too?
But she also seems to be getting lavished with so much news coverage and fake praise that it's becoming exhausting.
Fake praise?
Again, much like Lupita Nyong'o, I've got nothing against her on...
Okay, this is again, he does have something against them because he's racist. He does have something against them. He has substantiated nothing. He's not even giving you like little B-roll footage or excerpts of that people saying we're tired, or even the praise that she's getting. He's doing the whole word of mouth thing. You know, you've seen her so much. But again, I can do that with anybody. I can be like, we have Robert Pattinson fatigue. In the last year alone, he's been in like 6 big films. Oh my God, we have Tom Holland fatigue. Oh my God, we have X person fatigue. That's not true. Do you have Sydney Sweeney fatigue? Because she's also in Euphoria. She's been in shit too. Do we have Jacob Elordi fatigue?
On a personal level, she seems pleasant enough, and she usually comes across well.
And this is a lie. This is what they're doing here. Is just like, hey, now I'm not racist, but I'm going to be extremely racist and critical of the people of color and the trans person. But I swear I'm not hateful, even though I labeled it gender ideology agenda pushing or gender ideology fatigue.
I mean, I can't say I'm a huge fan of the perpetually confused scowl that seems to pass for her acting style, but maybe that's just a personal thing.
But you see, like right there. You can't say all this.
Much like Lupita news coverage and fake praise that it's becoming exhausting. Again, much like Lupita Nyong'o, I've got nothing against her on a personal level. She seems pleasant enough, and she usually comes across well in interviews. I mean, I can't say I'm a huge fan of the perpetually confused scowl that seems to pass for her acting style, but maybe that's just a personal thing. The point though is that her rise to fame just feels astroturfed. She feels like an actress that's popular because someone in Hollywood decided she was going to be popular, and not because there was this huge swell of fan support for her. She's like a mid-card wrestler suddenly given a main event push.
Again, god damn, he's so infuriating. Again, he doesn't understand how Hollywood works or acting works or anything like that. He's saying her career was astroturfed. You cannot astroturf someone with no power in the system. Astroturfed in what way, dog? Euphoria was popular. She's in Euphoria. She got a role in the Spider-Man universe. She got these roles in Dune. Like, how is it being astroturfed? What, you think people are just like paying for her to be places and then to get her acting jobs? Like, does he not understand that that's how actors audition? And like, what happens is they film movies and those movies get released at random dates, and sometimes they stack up.
Because the bookers want to see if they've got headliner potential. Sometimes it works, but most of the time they fizzle out after
nothing
a few
substantiated.
Years. Well, I've got a feeling I know which way she's gonna go. Now, if I was casting the Greek goddess Athena, I'd be looking for an actress with an insane level of charisma, screen presence, and gravitas, not to mention acting range, and unless there's something about her that I've somehow...
By the way, dog, you're a terrible director. You don't get to judge Christopher Nolan for his casting decision or his casting director's decisions when you are a shit director. You tried directing, you were bad at it. It's insane for him to make this comment. I would have cast somebody with extreme presence and this. Okay, who?
I missed over the years. I just don't see any of those
Who?
qualities in Zendaya.
Who?
I think she's...
Who? He can't even tell you who he'd cast. Just some nebulous person who has screen presence and this and this and that. Athena's role in the Odyssey isn't even that significant, dude. It's not. That's why they cast Anne Hathaway as Queen of Ithaca, by the way.
Gonna have to dig real deep for this one, only to discover she doesn't have a big enough shovel. Ultimately though, maybe this backlash for all its noise is just confined to the internet, and the normies out there couldn't give a shit about any of these casting controversies. I mean, Christopher Nolan is one of the few star directors out there who can sell tickets on...
So now what he's trying to do, after spending 7 minutes talking about this, is trying to be like what I said earlier, that this shit's just online. But he's trying to make it seem like, well, maybe this is just an overreaction. Who knows? Because he knows that the Odyssey is going to do crazy numbers, and he's going to look like a dumbass, like he normally always does, because he's trying to say this is going to do terribly. That a Christopher Nolan film based off the Odyssey that sold out before it even was released is going to do terribly in theaters. That was his working thesis. And now that he's being obviously proven wrong. He's trying to soften the landing a bit, but you know, this is just online stuff. Who knows? The normies don't care. The normies are the ones who's going to watch this fucking movie. Like, god damn.
His name alone, so I definitely wouldn't count him out with this one. Is it gonna reach Oppenheimer levels of success? Probably not, but
And here we go. Now, the goalpost. Now it's, well, I didn't say the movie was going to do terrible or do bad, but it won't reach Oppenheimer's success. Lots of films haven't reached Oppenheimer's success. Previous Christopher Nolan films haven't reached Oppenheimer's success. But that's never the bar. But he's probably going to say some shit like, but would it be as bad as Supergirl? God, no.
I do think it'll turn a healthy profit. And what the hell? Maybe he'll surprise us all and create a genuine masterpiece with the Odyssey, but I don't know, man. I've got this weird little feeling that he might have gone a bridge too far with this one. Either way, we'll find out in a couple of weeks. Anyway, that's all I've got for today.
What a terrible, like, a terrible critic. He said nothing. He just made this video because he has to get the money, right? 8 minutes of nothing. 8 minutes of no analysis, not even a trailer analysis, no analysis, no substantiation of any claims made, just saying shit. Just saying shit. Yeah, this movie's gonna suffer the same fate as Supergirl because it has Zendaya in it. And we know we all have Zendaya fatigue, and we all have gender ideology fatigue for a character I didn't know existed and I originally thought was going to be Achilles, and now I'm just like, well, how are they going to look in the armor? They're going to look so small. I can't do suspension of disbelief. Like, it's genuinely insane that he considers himself a critic. Also, real quick, how you remember he was talking about girl bosses and talking about Hollywood wants us to believe a tiny woman can fight against a man and be capable. Here's a little section from his own film, the Ryan Jake proof of concept film, which is available on YouTube right now. But here's a portion of this. So let's just rewind this part right here, because you know how they love to be super hyper realistic about shit, right? So little girl punched him and he like ate that, right? Look at the full force of that hit. Put his weight behind it. Not only is she not knocked out, he's putting his full weight on her body, slamming her head. Now, this man outweighs her at least by 100 pounds. And yet, in that position, when he has gravity on his side, he's put his weight and pushed down, she's able to resist. I'm not even trying. He's trying to say that to be like, oh, but he's not putting full effort. Dog, that first punch and him slamming her head into the ground, she should be KO'd. She shouldn't be able to resist this. He says he's not trying. Look at that effort on his face. He's trying. This is effort.
Frost, lift up his head a little, would you?
Lights out, shipbird.
And so I know she got assistance on that at the very end, but you can't say that superhero girl, a Black Widow, you have to suspend your disbelief, and for Elliot Page, you suspend disbelief because how can you do the armor when this guy mounted her and could have killed her immediately? Again, should have killed her right here. The minute she gets clocked, mind you, he's winding act, full force, right in the face. Then immediately with this afterwards, picks her up, her head right here, slams against the concrete, full force. You can't pull that. This is physics at play. Why is she still conscious, Critical Drinker? Why is she still conscious? Is it because you expect your audience to, participate in suspension of disbelief? Like, this is the shit I'm talking about. He wants to make these videos where he's this esteemed critic, or maybe people say he's putting on a character. He thinks at the very least he's a critic, and yet he's not able to analyze anything because all of his talking points are culture war talking points. Every single point he brings up is 100% tied to you guys are pushing the message. And if you think I'm lying and you want to lobotomize yourself, watch his other videos that are starring people of color or women and see how often he talks about the message, some version of DEI, or protecting European history or whatever. He's a bigot. He's a bigot who tried his hand at being creative, and when people were like, this shit's ass, he not only did he change the Ryan Drake title from like a film to a proof of concept, because it wasn't proof of concept, people just didn't like it. But if you go and check IMDb and you look for Ryan Drake Rogue Elements, you will see that no one thought this was a good film. Even his own audience. This is his own Reddit, okay? This is his own Reddit, right? Critic 2 years ago. Someone tries to be like, they wouldn't green like this because there's no black people or gay people with them pronouns, ha ha ha. The problem is it's very forgettable. It's a forgettable film. I think Hollywood never greenlit it because you can tell at a glance it would be derivative crap. Can't wait for the Drake recommends with LMAO. I thought Ryan Drake was awfully miscast. He's talking about casting people with presents and et cetera, et cetera. Can't cast people for shit. Music was loud and overbearing. The actors tried their best, I hope, but the dialogue was not good, to be polite. The fight scenes were silly, almost like a parody. What struck me most was that after all the criticism and analysis from the drinker's side, I would expect a creative relevance of some sort, whether it's a budget-constrained proof of concept or not. Marvel writers deserve a raise for actually having a better understanding of tone. So, can we be honest? I think the final product was pretty lackluster, to be fair. The dialogue in particular was extremely cliche and generic, which I was very much not expecting from such a highly regarded and experienced movie critic. The story was cookie cutter, as was the villain protagonist. There's nothing different or memorable about any of them. Why did Will not bother to inject anything original into any aspect of this narrative? Bizarre. Real shame, as I wanted to like it. You're pulling your punches. It was terrible. He has no idea what it entails. It looks like a low-budget straight-to-DVD B movie made by someone who thinks watching lots of movies means they can do it better. Well, he can't. He has little to no experience directing talent, casting, working with cinematographer, or a lighting team. In art department, costume, hair, or makeup, let alone edit, supervision, post-production, VFX, or grading. This guy says unlearn the job and requires R&D people and a big production team to coordinate. He's bitten off way more than he can chew. Like, this is genuinely terrible. Genuinely terrible. He's not a POC. One thing, by the way, that Jenkins mentioned before that it was going to be a POC seems like an ad hoc adjustment presentation. Everyone is dogging this movie. They're dogging it. This shit is 42. You can watch it here. It is Rogue Elements TV series proof of concept. It is 42 minutes of garbage. Okay? And this is from the guy who you just saw is trying to say that Christopher Nolan has miscast people. This is why it is very important for you guys to really look at the people you're supporting, especially in these spaces. He cannot call himself a critic, especially not a good one, when not only does he criticize people for the exact shit that he's done it to a worse degree. He's done it to a worse degree. And if people are going to say, oh, but he's a YouTuber and he had to fund it or whatever. He has a large audience. He had a lot of funding for this, for independent film. And we are seeing what happened with other YouTubers who were funding their films, like Obsession. And some people do shit really well, like Kane Parsons, where a real studio is like, hey, we love this shit. We'll help you produce this. There's been like 4 or 5 YouTubers who've been able to get their films out to varying successes, but still much better than this shit. And you would think a critic who's made, God, how many videos about this shit? How many videos does Critical Drinker have on his channel? Who has over 700 videos of him critiquing people's stuff? Who has videos like talking about Supergirl, a total cinematic calamity, Masters of the Universe, it has the power but didn't do well. Disclosure Day, Spielberg should stop making films. Like Will Smith, the crash and burn story, like Will Smith, like you see what I'm talking about? He has all this smoke, especially for like Disney. The Drinker fixes the Hobbit trilogy. all of these works are objectively better than anything he could possibly do. And it isn't me saying people can't critique. I critique shit, but I'm a much better critic of things than this guy is, and he's a self-proclaimed movie critic. I'm here to deliver reviews, breakdowns, and analysis on modern entertainment media. Expect a healthy dose of sarcasm, biting criticism, and low-functioning alcoholism. He is not able of doing analysis. And notice how he says modern entertainment media. He has an agenda. All of his shit is culture war agenda-driven slop, which is why just scrolling through his thumbnails, you'll see a lot of Supergirl, a lot of Black Snape, and a lot of Star Wars, right? Because those are the ones he can go after consistently. We killed the Acolyte, apparently. By the way, he hated the Star Wars Acolyte so much he talked about it multiple times. He's still obsessed with Rachel Zegler, like they all are. Predator Badlands, Disney consumes another franchise, as if Predator Badlands didn't fucking rip. Like, this is who he is as a person. He's a bad critic and an awful filmmaker. So naturally, this is what he does. Please watch anyone else. You want actual analysis and not just someone pretending to be drunk to hide the fact that they can't analyze the fucking color of the sun. There's Movies with Mark is a great channel. He gives actual in-depth analyses about the media he covers. Not this Joker. God damn. Awful. Awful.